Hey guys, and welcome to my off-meta tanking guide. We will go over how this playstyle works, my recommended team comps, and how well this performs compared to your standard tanking composition. Before we begin, I just want to mention that this guide is mainly for my fellow and future tank mains who wants to switch up their playstyle and teams. We only have 5 tanking units out of the 26 characters, including the ones from CN. And it's even likely that we'll only get 4 tank units because Mark is still not confirmed as a collaboration for our version of the game. So feel free to try out the team comps and playstyles I will show you if you feel like Fortitude is starting to get stale. The Fortitude Resonance has always been the go-to for players who are filling the tank role, because not only does it give you increased damage reduction and shatter, it also gives you an additional 800% aggro. While yes, the damage reduction and increased shatter helps you play this role more comfortably, but does the 800% aggro increase actually matter? And can you theoretically fill the tank role without the help of the additional 800%? And is there any benefit to using other resonances over Fortitude? To find the answers to all of this, I spent a few days testing out a few different teams outside of the Fortitude Resonance. And since we no longer have that 800% increased aggro, we can compensate for this by using characters who can apply aggro on their own. The characters that come to mind are Ene and Huma. Ene has aggro whenever you switch to her weapon if you have her first advancement, and Huma has a 5-second taunt on her discharge skill. Out of these two, Huma has the most consistent aggro considering Huma's advancement actually has a 15-second cooldown. So I highly recommend you use Huma if you want to try out this playstyle. I then tested out one team for every weapon resonance. First, I tested out an attack resonance team that has Huma, Samir, and Tsubasa. For my Benediction team, I used Huma, Nemesis, and Coco. And my balance team has Huma, Samir, and Zero. The idea for these team compositions is to have high uptime on your discharge skill so you can spam your Huma and apply her taunting effect. So it's important to take note that you need to funnel all your weapon charge to Huma. After a couple of runs with these team comps, and after going through numerous clips and recordings, my testing came down to this. For the attack resonance, using this was extremely difficult for tanking. Yes, you are doing way more damage than you would have done with any other resonance, but you are very squishy because you don't have anything to negate damage or heal with. The Benediction Resonance, on the other hand, brings a lot of utility, especially with the use of Zero's kit. This will help you negate damage with your shield, and you will also provide damage immunity for your teammates, which is so underrated. I found this useful in the hard difficulty Frontier Clash because a lot of enemy attacks can easily one-shot players. Using this resonance also lets you become a pocket healer, which is much needed in some cases. The only downside to this is that you won't be doing much damage, and if you don't have Zero, it can be difficult to get more weapon charge for your discharge skill. And lastly, we have the balance team. This is by far the most viable resonance for tanking out of the 3. Aside from the Fortitude Resonance, this is the only other resonance that gives damage reduction and shatter. On top of that, you also get healing bonus, which Fortitude Resonance doesn't have. I really think that Zero works best in this type of composition, especially with higher advancements. He has a very good shield, damage immunity, and high charge rating. But if you don't have Zero, the other SSR healing units also work, just not at the same level as Zero. Whenever I'm using this team, I start with using Zero to get my weapon charged to full, and then I use Huma's discharge skill for the taunt. The duration of holding aggro is highly dependent on a few factors, such as damage contribution, distance, attack volume, and external buffs. So depending on the situation, you can expect to hold aggro for 10 to 20 seconds if you optimize your skill usage properly. Honestly, I couldn't even tell the difference between balance and Fortitude, especially when it comes to getting aggro. As long as you are able to spam your Huma discharge skill, you don't have to worry about it too much. And also if you consider the weapon advancements, some DPS weapons actually scale with HP, either on their 2nd or 4th advancement. So this will also be helpful if you happen to have it. Now that we know balanced resonance can be viable as an alternative for Fortitude, I will be giving you some tips for when you decide to try out this playstyle. There will be some scenarios where you will be able to get your weapon charged to full and still have aggro on the enemy. I would recommend saving Huma's discharge skill for when the aggro gets transferred to another player. I also recommend that you almost never use Huma outside of her discharge skill, or occasionally using her skill for a quick energy bump and axe form for breaking shields. You would want to be using a different weapon so that if you trigger a perfect dodge, your Huma's weapon charge will be instantly maxed. For matrix options, the 3-piece pepper set is very useful for your battery. You can slot this in your DPS or healing weapon, whichever one has better charge rating, so you can further improve your weapon discharge skill uptime. And for the rest of your weapons, just use the best ones you have. I will leave a link to the Tower Fantasy Index down in the description so you can look up the best matrices for your weapon of choice. And for relics, you can go for the standard tanking relics that we currently have, mainly the Kuwant Shield, Omnium Shield, and the Hand Cannon. You can use these relics to negate damage or even block projectiles from your enemies. With all that being said, stay tuned and make sure to subscribe. I will be doing more tests on different aspects of the game, and I will be releasing more character-specific guides soon. And as always, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.